Hello. So once again, in looking for gigs on Upwork, I come across the question, let's see an example of a very complex formula you've written in Google Sheets. So, okay, I've got quite a doozy for you. This one may seem insanely complicated, more complicated than it needs to be. And that's because it actually does more than produce the results that you see in the sheet. This particular sheet uh, is on the surface just a record of my performance at the gym, but actually it is an exercise, no pun intended, in producing a sheet that is extremely revisable, something that at any point I can make changes to, add new features to, add new columns, rearrange things, and not have to go back into the script behind it and make major changes. Um, it is long been a concern of mine to make Google Sheets that can be easily changed by the client I make them for, even when they have automations built into them, without them having to call me back and hire me over again to revise the script so that it will continue to work. And of course, once you have built an automation in a sheet, that script is going to respond to particular areas of the sheet that change. It has to know what parts of the sheet to read from and what parts of the sheet to write to. And once you start moving things around, adding new columns, rows, whatever, you may have to go back and revise your script. So how does one write a script sheet combination so that no extensive rewriting of the script is necessary? I came up with a method in which the script basically rewrites itself in response to changes that the user makes to it, and did so in such a way that the script itself continues to run very quickly, because previous methods I've come up with took a sort of they took a toll on the performance of the script itself. Now, I'm not going to get into any of that. That the method behind this and the principles employed are something I intend to make a much longer video about in the future. I'm only saying all of this now in order to explain why the formula I'm going to present is as complex as it is. As you will see, the formulas within this sheet make no specific references to specific columns. In other words, they do not assume that a column of data is going to be, or a row of data is going to be in any particular place in the sheet at any particular time, but use dynamic methods to find those columns and rows. Okay, so without further ado, let's just do a quick little demonstration of what this thing does. Now remember, I didn't mention, this is designed to run on a phone. The idea is to be able to just take this thing on my phone with me to the gym and quickly enter whatever numbers I need to do, choose an exercise, and move on. So let's just start on any given day. It says no entry today. And with this pull-down menu, I choose the day and then decide what sort of exercise I want to include in the workout. So let's just say I've already chosen abdominals, or that's something I do every day, or did every day while I was using this. And let's just add some upper body choices here. And then we'll choose, let's say, the lat pull down. Okay, so right off the bat, my formulas bring in the record that I set at the last workout. Or excuse me, it says what I did at the last time I did this particular exercise. So and whether or not I set a new record. And in this case, I did. So the last time I did the lat pull down was on the 18th of August. And I did 3 sets, all at 120 pounds of 11, 10, and 9 repetitions. And of those, the record, this was the most I've ever done at that particular weight, 11 repetitions at 120 pounds. and the sheet has brought in, remembers the last weight I did. Let's just say that now I'm at the gym and I'm going to increase my weight to 130. And then I try to do the minimum number of 8 reps, but I can't. I only get in 7. And so now you see this, of course, is a script action. It's recorded. It's recorded the number of reps and the weight there. Okay, so, and nothing changed up here. So let's just say I decided, okay, you know what, that was too ambitious. Let's bring the weight back down to 120. After waiting 60 seconds, I go again, and this time I do 12. And now I've set a new record. Okay, so understand what's going on here. Even though I initially set a higher weight than I ever had done before, since I failed to do the minimum number of repetitions for that particular exercise, that did not count towards my record. But having done a higher number of repetitions at 120 pounds than I have done before, I have now set a new record. Okay, so there is a combination of formulas and app script at play here. So let me just get right into how I calculate, how I figure out what is a record. So first of all, so we have normally these other tabs here remain hidden. I've just got them showing here so that for this demonstration. But anyhow, here is the log that has the complete record of everything I've done, all the exercises, and all the different dates. Now, on this right-hand side of the log sheet is one column for every day that I did a workout, and here's when I actually last used it. This is before I hit the road. I'm no longer in Philadelphia, and so I no longer have the gym membership, and I don't have a new gym membership yet. And this is today. We just created this new column when I chose to. The first thing I did there, entering today's date, that created this column. And here is the row of information for the lat pull down. And this is the here is the record of what we just did. Now, in the name of keeping this thing as flexible as possible, I am making extensive use of indirect named ranges, and they are compiled here in this tab. Here are various different ranges that are referenced by both the script and by the formulas. And these are the ranges as described in row column format, which is not the easiest thing to read, but over here on the right, I have a script that is converting these RC specifications into our familiar A1 specs. So I'm just pointing this out to you now because I want you to see when I show you the big formula that I am referencing these indirect name ranges quite a bit. And again, in the name of flexibility, these are not hardwired in at all, but are themselves computed by formulas. Anyhow, the big formula I want to show you is the one that is producing this here. No, it's not that one. It's not that tiny little one. This here is just a reference to that formula. And this is the one we're talking about here, the one that's on this tab. So let me just display the formulas here, and this is it. This is the big one. This is it. This is the big one. This is the only other thing that is a formula on here. It's just simply a reference to whatever exercise is chosen on the dashboard. that you saw at the beginning. And then this formula here produces everything below it, including this header and all these dates, records, and points. See, I can just click anywhere in here and delete, and it comes right back because it's produced by formula. So this point system here is kind of complex. And basically, what it's doing, it is referencing the minimum and maximum number, well, actually only the minimum number of repetitions for each particular exercise, which is part of the log. See, over here, for example, the lat pull down has a minimum number of 8, as it is. Like I said before, you have to do at least 8 for a set to qualify as a record. Other exercises, such as the chest press, might have only 6, and then leg exercises start at 10. So that's one element in computing the points, and then the other is the increments. Like, does this particular machine go up 10 pounds with each? Do you have a choice of going up 10 pounds or 5, whatever? And that's, where's the increment? Here it is. So basically, I set it up so that going from one repetition to the next within the same weight gives you 1 more point, and then going from the maximum number, so let's just say the lat pull down here has a weight increment of 5. That means that, so let's say we went from 120, 12, the maximum, to 125, 8 minimum. That would also count as going up 1 more point. Okay. So now the formula, it has to produce all of this. It has to produce this, whether we get the record set today, or whether it just shows when the best record was, what it was, and the date. And then it also produces this, whatever the most recent workout was. And by workout, we mean the workout at which we did this particular exercise. We didn't do it the last. If we did a leg day, the last one, then it's going to show the day before. And there's also no assumption that we work out every day. That also is just coming directly from the dates here in the log along the top, that row 1 there. Okay, so that basically gives you a rundown of the inputs that go into this formula. So let's have a look at the formula itself. I am going to try to be concise. All right, so let's open this up. So first, we have to find what row on the log that particular exercise is. And this actually refers to the dashboard. There are a bunch of hidden columns off to the side of what you see. So part of the method here was figuring out how best to balance the roles, how to divide labor between formulas and script. What functions are best handled by Google Apps Script, and what functions are best handled by formulas. And so one thing I did was just arrange to have as much as possible brought in from the log to these hidden columns. And that includes the row number here. So that's a 14. Say number 14. All right, so this then gives us the row of information. It gives us the complete set of records for this particular exercise. And it's going to be a combination of blank cells for days that we didn't do that exercise, and then these various values. Now note that for each cell, we've got sets that are separated by commas and spaces, and then we have weights and repetitions that are separated by asterisk. So to compute the point values, we have to, and figure out which of these is the best, we have to split this information on the commas, and then each of those sets has to be split on the asterisk. Okay, so here's how we do it. See if I can remember it all too. Actually, I'm just looking at this for the first time since I designed it. Okay, so the settings for this row, we start by getting the everything from the left-hand side of the log using this indirected named range, and within that we use index to find which row, the row of selected exercise. So -1 there to account for the header row. And now we have the headers that we use to find these three crucial elements to calculate the points. The minimum number of repetitions, the maximum. Why did I include maximum in there? Oh yeah, that's part of the math. And then the weight increment. And this is an example of where I could, if I wanted to make this thing a little simpler, I might have just said column H, column J, what have you, but instead I am using the names in the header so that these columns can be rearranged in any way, and the formula will still totally work along with everything that depends on those headers. Then we locate exactly where those columns are by mapping their positions within the first row of the log tab. And okay, then here we get, let's see, the three inputs from the header columns. We are going to find, yes, the settings for this row. Coming back, that's up here. And now for these next three here, what I'm doing, or the next four, what I'm doing here, I have a bunch of filters. And for the filter the part of the filter function that determines which values we're going to use of the input, you'll notice that I'm using them more than once. So I declare them right here, and then I can use them again. If that's not too confusing, let me just, with having said that, let me then go back to what records with blanks, this row. Okay, so what this is everything that's in that row, starting from that first column that we inserted all the way to the end. So that's all of the records, none of the headers. And then of those that are not blank, we have to filter out the blank ones here. So this is the filtering. This is the part. This is the filter criterion. Not being equal to blank, plain and simple. All right. Now, once we've established that filter criterion, we can then take the initial bunch of records and blanks and then filter out the blanks. And then that same criterion, records not blank, can be used to locate the dates that correspond to those workouts by filtering the dates from that first row. Okay, now then we need to know today. This is, and so you can't actually use a function name such as today as a variable name in a let, so I have done this deliberate misspelling of today. And okay, the date of the last workout. So here we filter all the dates of this row that are not equal to today, and then get the maximum numbers to get the most recent one. All right, and then the last workout. Now we take the records of this row and we use the column that we just found to get that last workout. And now we are going to, let's see. I've got three different things here. This is, okay, so now we're going back to the left-hand side of the log sheet. The left-hand side is where we have all our headers, right? And the right-hand side is where we have um, the workouts. And so we get what the minimum number of reps for that particular exercise is here by choosing the first column of those first three inputs, and then the reps max is the second column of that set of columns, and the weight increment is the third. Now we have to split the records on the comma, and then we're going to get the repetitions and the weights by, again, we split on the asterisks, and in this case we choose the first of those figures, and here we get the second of those figures using the choose columns. Choose columns is something that will work with a virtual range. So in other words, these two columns don't have to actually be side by side in the sheet. We've created a virtual array by calling them in, and now we can choose the first, second, third of them. Let's see. Now we filter. We have to figure out which of the ones pass the minimum number of repetitions. And here we're going to filter out all sets in which none, if there were any in which the minimum number of reps was not met, we have to filter that out. And now, oh boy, I'm not going to even try to get into the mathematics here, but here is where, as I said before, the system in which one repetition more than the previous at the same weight is gives you 1 point more, and going to the minimum number of the at the next weight up gets you 1 point more than doing the maximum at the previous weight. This is all in this formula here. I don't want to spend all night on this video, so I'm not going to get into every little detail. But that is how we calculate the dates. We find again, okay, so again, you might notice this pattern here that have we get a bunch of data and then filter out what is significant from it. So we've got some dates with blanks, and then we're going to filter out the blanks. That's where we have this is not equal to blank filter criterion to get the best points. We get the best score ever by getting the maximum number of those points. Rows of scores matching best. Actually, I actually can't. I've lost track here. You know what this is at this point. The row of the dates having the best score achieved is the maximum of that. Um, oh, okay. So now we're getting into virtual. We're not talking about the rows on the log. We're talking about a virtual array that we've created of all those scores. In fact, we're talking about this down here, this thing that the formula itself has created. And here we get the summary, the total thing that we see over here. It is constructed with this string, and hang on for a second. Okay, no, so we've got some logic here that test whether we're going to use the record set today, if the record was set today, um, or whether the record was set at the last workout, or if the record was set at an earlier date. All of that is involved in this ifs formula. And finally, we stack this. Where's the horizontal stack? There should be a horizontal stack in there. Mm, I don't see it. I don't see it. Where is it? Okay, I've lost track. I've lost track, and I don't want to lose you. I don't want this video to go on for too long. But I think you get the basic idea here. We are stacking up the this, and see dates, records, points. That's right here, produced by formula. Can delete and come right back. And then finally, underneath all of this that was produced earlier in the function, the dates, the records, the points, etc. And just to demonstrate that I didn't start, I didn't just deliberately choose lat pull down. Let's just go back to the dashboard, choose a different exercise, and there. Oops. Then we've got a different set of values altogether. And here was the record set at the last workout. Okay, so there you have it. A very, very complex formula. Hope that didn't blow your mind or bore you to tears. Hope you found it interesting and persuasive that I might be crazy, but I know what I'm doing. All right, cheers.